we need to have a little bit of we need to have a conversation. A'ja Wilson's going to win them both this season. Let's stop playing games, okay? What I said in February was cute. I was caught up in the moment. Nafisa Collier was out here ripping girls a new one in the unrivaled one-on-one tournament, right? And I was a little bit of a prisoner of the moment, right? I wasn't seeing A'ja Wilson play basketball. She was out there selling her shoes. Both times have sold out in under 5 minutes. Shout out to my queen, A'ja Wilson there. But here's the reality of the situation, right? When you look at, what A'ja Wilson did last season. I just told you she was the first player in WNBA history to give you 1,000 points in a season, right? You take a look at her last 4 or 5 seasons. She's gotten better every single season and either been MVP or runner-up to the MVP all 5 of those seasons, right? When you take a look at what this team is now, what they're trying to become, right? A'ja even said in one of the media interviews as during training camp that number one, it hurt a little bit, obviously, not being able to get the three-peat, number one, but number two, she kind of felt it. Right? You take a look at what's going on in that locker room. She kind of felt that maybe this isn't the year, but now she's hungry and she's back. Chelsea Gray said yesterday, this team is in starvation mode. A'ja Wilson also said, and this is the one that really gets me. A'ja Wilson said that normally she's really hard on herself when she's not spending all her time in the gym devoted to her craft. But she was booked and busy this offseason. She had a lot of stuff to do. She was getting jersey retired and she was selling shoes and she was going on interviews and doing all this other stuff. She didn't get a lot of time to hone in on her craft. But you take a look at what she's been doing so far through 2 games. You take a look at her dedication to getting better. And I have no reason to think that A'ja Wilson won't win MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. Again, I think she's hungry. And I think a hungry A'ja Wilson is a scary A'ja Wilson. I'm watching her do things in preseason games that we normally see her do a month and a half into the season. And I think she's taken that loss very personally. And just as big as the chip on Nafisa Collier's shoulder is, I think A'ja Wilson's is even bigger. I'll be honest with you here. I'm a numbers guy, and I like stats. I don't have a number or a stat to support this take at all. I am just telling you, as an A'ja Wilson fan, and as a fan, that I believe that A'ja Wilson will once again win MVP and Defensive Player of the Year in the same season because she has a point to prove. Because just as much as you and I know, Martin, that maybe, just maybe, Nafisa Collier is breathing down her neck, A'ja Wilson knows it too. And as the commercial said, right, A'ja Wilson's on top, okay? And nobody's taking her spot. All right, so that's all I got for you. I have no expert analysis. I don't have a number for you. I don't have any advanced stats. I'm just telling you what the commercial said, and the commercial told me that A'ja Wilson's on top, and she's going to be on top this season when she wins MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. Again, joining Cheryl Swoops as the only other player to win both awards in the same season twice. So there you go.
No, I think it's certainly possible. Where I don't think MVP will be in the cards for A'ja this year. And again, I certainly think it's possible, but I feel like with them getting Jewel Lloyd acclimated and what they probably need from Jewel Lloyd as the Kelsey Plum replacement, granted, A'ja has won MVP with Kelsey Plum, with, the other 3 great guards on her team before. So she's shown she can do it, but I not that they're going to be forcing the issue because that wouldn't be ideal, but I do think we're going to see some transitioning and some acclimating and making sure that Jewel Lloyd is establishing herself at points in the season. We also just talked about Jackie Young, who I think is the key for the Aces to get back to championship form. A'ja is going to be A'ja. If Jackie Young is special this year, and not to imply that takes away from A'ja, but I think there are going to be times when we look at the Aces like Jackie Young, it might be their best player. And when we know Chelsea Gray is back and healthy again, A'ja has done it playing with other great guards around her already. But between Jackie being back in full form, Jewel Lloyd needing to be acclimated and activated, I don't think it's going to be on A'ja to be as special individually from an offensive standpoint. Defensively, she's probably still going to dominate. I think Defensive Player of the Year might be more likely than MVP this year, especially when you go back to who you talked about in the clip. And yeah, it was February. You talking about prisoner moment. What are you not a prisoner of the moment now? Which Dwayne Marcus do I take at face value? Because it's like, you're not
before the season,
evidence. You're just going off vibes and being a fan. So I don't know, but the Dwayne Marcus that was talking in February sounded like he was just being open and honest about the situation.
And he maybe had a little bit more square head on his shoulders.
Mention how Minnesota, they have the same roster. It's basically the same setup.
Yeah.
And with that being the case, Nafisa has a roster where she has to be an MVP for them to be the Minnesota Lynx. And I think she will be again. So I think I agree more with Dwayne Marcus in February on Nafisa Collier. I mean, yeah, everyone's on a mission. Everyone's on a mission this year. Everyone's saying that, we're back, we're better, whatever, starvation mode, whatever. Everyone's hungry, some more than others, but everyone's got something to prove. Everyone's on a mission. Nafisa, Asia, whatever, Sabrina, Caitlin, everyone's on a mission. Everyone's got something to prove. Just based on circumstance and situation, I think it's a little too easy to just say, oh, Asia again. I think if you look at what the Aces have to do this year to get acclimated to new people, I don't think we're seeing. I mean, there probably will be moments when Asia just takes over again and has to be the best player in the world, but I think they're trying to get back to strength in numbers, doing it by committee somewhat, getting back to having a big three, a big four. Last year, no Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young's banged up. It just felt like Asia was doing so much where it felt like she had to be dominant, had to be an MVP just to compete. And I think they're trying to get back to her not having to do as much. So that's where I say I don't know if that's going to be on the table this year, but it's certainly possible because she is that great.
That's the expert analysis that I chose to ignore. Lisa in the comments said Fee outplayed Asia every game they played. Well, it's a new year, Lisa. Good morning. Thank you for tapping in with us, but it's a new year, and I don't like to dwell on the past. Rachel said, "Now you know," with a little winky face. Hey man, I'm just saying what the commercial said. That's unadulterated truth. She's on. All right, let me stop. My bad. Let me stop.